Uh, I tell you what, obviously Utah's banged up, and you don't wish that upon anybody. But our guys still came in here on a back-to-back and figured out how to get a win. I thought, and I told our group this, I thought if we played just simple, solid basketball throughout the course of 48 minutes, we might have had an easier time with the game. But we had a lot of moments where, offensively we tried to make the home run play with the pass. Defensively, we tried to make the home run play with the gamble. And when we get, because we're going to get there, when we get to a point where we can be solid for closer to 48 minutes than not, we'll take off. A lot of good performances. We had 9 offensive rebounds, which is more than the 5 I think that we've been averaging, and we scored 24 second chance points. I don't know how that happened, but we'll take it. That's the art of crashing. Good things can happen. In terms of points in the paint, we were really poor in that area last year, and Utah scored 38 points in the paint, which was good. Our guys are starting to understand what it means to shift and to be there to help your teammate. So good moments on the defense end of the floor at times. And then, we had a lot of good performances. Obviously, DeMar, when we were going through a little rut, it's always good to be able to throw him in the game and have him settle us down. His patience to get a good shot or a shot where we have an advantage it's amazing. I mean, it's time after time after time. He's just really patient and methodical with his approach when it comes to valuing a possession, and we all have to get there so we can be a really, really good team. But he was big with the 20 points and the 8 assists. Domas, another double-double. He's just a monster in there. He wears his hard hat every single game, and he was fantastic tonight. Obviously, Foxy was Foxy, and Kev was really good. He was good on both. He was pretty solid on both ends of the floor. But Keon off the bench was tremendous. He was our defensive player of the game. He just had his hands on everything. His hands were on the ball all the time. Steals, deflections, blocks. He had 3 block shots. So an amazing game from Keon, especially on the defense end of the floor tonight.
With Luke taking over the defensive side,
yeah.
What are you seeing early on in the season? And were there things that he had been preaching or you guys have been preaching that you saw tonight, maybe particularly in the third quarter?
Yeah, well, from day one that Jordy's been here, we've been preaching activity. We've always, when we've had a high number of deflections, we've been pretty good record-wise, and so that's no different with Luke. Luke is preaching the same thing, but I think the biggest change or biggest difference that Luke has brought to the table is he's really, really preaching our shifts or shifting the right way. He's worked extremely hard with our guys on it, and it's paid off. We can all feel it. We can all see it. We could see it not just on the floor during the games and when we watch film, but we could see it in the production when it comes to the box score. So we have to keep trying to protect the paint because teams look at us and they think, okay, hey, attack, and if we can get to a point where we're able to deter some of those attacks and make teams take contested jump shots, then that's going to be a lot better for us. And then, we played a different zone last year. Luke changed our zone up. He's added a little bit of a zone press, which is good. And, Luke's a young, bright coach that will be a head coach in this NBA. Will be a head coach in the NBA someday. He's an out-of-the-box thinker, so he's got a lot of crazy ideas that make my hair stand up if I had any. But he's done a heck of a job so far in a short amount of time that he's been defense coordinator.
And how do you think Keon has responded to, I don't know, was he in a funk in the preseason or training camp? Just, I mean, it seems like tonight was a particularly good performance from him. How do you think his last few weeks have been leading up to the start of the season?
No, been good. I mean, we were all in a little bit of a funk kind of preseason time, and you know, like I said, I'll take most of the blame for it because I put those guys in a box, and it was hard. And they were in a box because I needed to see what we had, and I needed to fill some things out and go through my process of trying to get us right. And we still have a ways to go. I mean, this is not where the neat part about this is, you know, we figured out how to win our last two. But I still think our ceiling is high. We still have a lot of room to grow on both sides of the floor. And so having said that, we were all out of sorts come the preseason. Keon had a couple of good games, you know, in the preseason, especially defensively. He did some nice things on the ball. But, you know, Kevin, I wanted to give him an opportunity, and Kevin's played well on both ends of the floor since he's been inserted in that lineup. And so just trying to find minutes for Keon has been a little tough, you know, but that's what I get paid for, and I'll figure it out. You know, he was tremendous tonight. He deserved to be on the floor tonight, and we tried to keep him out there as long as we could while trying to continue giving the rest of our guys some time too. But he's going to be fine. He's one of the best young defenders that I've ever coached.
Mike, offensively, it seems like guys are doing what they do. Do you notice any deferring or, you know, overpassing or anything, or is that you guys work your way through that and guys are just playing?
They are playing. There are times when we get a little stagnant, and it's because we pass up open shots. We have great shooters on the team, and we want to let it fly. You know, we had 31 threes tonight. Obviously, we didn't shoot them at the clip that we normally do. We were 8 for 31, but in my opinion, we could have easily had 41, 42, 43 threes. But we held on to the ball at times, and we ended up getting taking a tougher shot or getting a turnover because we did. So that would be the only thing. That would be the main thing is, hey, if we're open, if you're open, let it fly. And then, you know, be solid with our passes. You know, when we got the lead or when we had a chance to blow it open a couple of times, some of our passes weren't good. And it wasn't because of what Utah was doing. It was because we were trying to make the home run pass and threading the needle or something like that. And, you know, it's a process, and we'll all grow from it and learn from it, and hopefully we'll be better going forward.
Mike, real quick on DeMar, you know, he's been around forever. This is a future Hall of Famer. Just, you know, from a locker room standpoint, a teaching standpoint, coaching standpoint, you just described what you've seen from him over this last month or since he's been here.
You know, first of all, he brings a tremendous presence to the team, whether it's on the floor playing, in practice, on the bus, in the locker room, post-game, pre-game, halftime. He just never seems out of sorts. And it's great for our guys because at times we can get a little emotional, and sometimes you got to sit back and take a deep breath and think about what just happened and how you can correct it without getting too emotional. And so having a guy like DeMar with that type of demeanor and presence, it rubs off on everybody else, so it helps the locker room as a whole. And then, you know, he's coachable. If I tell him, hey, DeMar, you got to do this, it's yeah. Okay, yeah. And again, if he's doing it that way, and the rest of the guys will. Now, we got that a lot from our guys anyway, you know, but it's good to have a Hall of Famer, like you said, come in and who's had deep playoff runs and be open to being coached and trying to play the right way. So, again, it's great to have him.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.